Welcome, brothers, to Sigma Male Community, where we dive deep into the realms of the mind, the soul, and the uncharted territories of human potential. Today, we're exploring something profound: the 10 signs that you are mentally strong and mature, as seen through the lens of Carl Jung's revolutionary psychology. If you've ever felt like you're walking a path less traveled, if you've ever sensed that there's more to life than meets the eye, then this video is for you. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, gave us a map to navigate the complexities of the human psyche. His concepts, like the collective unconscious, archetypes, and individuation, provide a framework to understand not just who we are, but who we can become. In this video, we'll unpack these ideas and see how they manifest in the lives of mentally strong and mature individuals, those who have embraced the Sigma mindset, who stand tall in their independence and self-reliance. So, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey into the depths of your own mind, guided by the wisdom of Carl Jung and the Stoic principles that have stood the test of time. Let's get started. 1. The silent power of unspoken depths. In Carl Jung's analytical psychology, the persona is the social mask we wear, crafted to meet societal expectations and navigate the external world. For the mentally strong and mature, there's a profound recognition that not every thought, emotion, or insight needs to be shared. This isn't about secrecy or emotional repression. It's about treating the inner world as a sacred space, a private sanctuary where the deepest parts of the psyche can flourish undisturbed. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden, often unconscious aspects of ourselves containing both our flaws and untapped potential, underscores why this selective silence is powerful. Oversharing risks exposing this shadow to those unprepared to understand it, potentially inviting judgment or misunderstanding that can dilute one's inner strength. By choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, the mature individual exercises discernment, ensuring their inner garden remains protected. This restraint aligns with the Sigma male's self-reliant nature, reflecting a quiet confidence that doesn't crave external validation. It's a disciplined choice to preserve one's psychic energy, allowing the unconscious to process and integrate without the clutter of external noise. Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious further enriches this idea, suggesting that our psyche is connected to universal archetypes, timeless patterns of thought and behavior shared across humanity. By guarding their inner depths, the mentally strong allow these archetypes to manifest organically, whether through dreams, creative pursuits, or moments of profound insight, rather than forcing them into premature expression. This selective vulnerability is not coldness, but consecration, a deliberate act of self-mastery that honors the complexity of the psyche. For the Sigma male, this silent power is a hallmark of maturity, a recognition that true strength lies in what remains unspoken, in the depths that others cannot access. It's about cultivating an inner richness that thrives independently of external applause, embodying a stoic resilience that finds peace in the quiet of one's own soul. This disciplined curation of the inner world marks a man who has transcended the need to broadcast every thought, standing firm in his own truth. 2. Emotional sovereignty. Your worth is non-negotiable. Carl Jung's concept of individuation describes the journey toward wholeness, where one integrates all aspects of the psyche, conscious and unconscious, into a unified self. For the mentally strong and mature, this process manifests as emotional sovereignty, the unshakable understanding that their worth is intrinsic and not contingent on others' opinions or reactions. In Carl Jung's framework, this involves detaching from the persona, the external mask we wear to gain approval, and embracing the self, the authentic core that encompasses both light and shadow. When criticism, judgment, or indifference no longer stings, it's because the individual has ceased outsourcing their self-worth, recognizing that others' reactions often reflect their own unresolved shadows or personas, not the truth of who you are. Carl Jung's concept of projection is key here. We often attribute our unconscious traits to others, and understanding this allows the mature individual to see criticism as a window into the critic's psyche, not a mirror of their own value. This detachment is a form of psychological liberation, enabling one to remain centered amidst external chaos. For the Sigma male, emotional sovereignty is the bedrock of mental fortitude, a stoic-like resilience that refuses to be swayed by the shifting winds of others' opinions. Carl Jung's emphasis on the self as the center of the psyche suggests that true strength comes from an internal locus of control, where external validation becomes irrelevant. This doesn't mean indifference to others, but a radical self-possession that allows one to engage with the world without being defined by it. Imagine a man standing on a cliff, unmoved by the storm raging below. His worth is not diminished by the chaos because it's anchored within. This clarity enables the Sigma male to navigate relationships and challenges with a calm, rational mindset, free from the need to prove himself. By embracing this Jungian principle, he achieves a state of inner freedom where his value remains non-negotiable, a testament to his psychological maturity and strength. Third, individuation in action. Boundaries as sacred architecture. In Carl Jung's psychology, individuation is the process of becoming a distinct, integrated self, separate from the collective influences of society. For the mentally strong and mature, setting boundaries is a tangible expression of this process, serving as the sacred architecture that protects the inner sanctuary of the psyche. Carl Jung would argue that without boundaries, we risk dissolving into the collective unconscious, losing our individuality to the demands and expectations of others. By saying no, the mature individual affirms that their time, energy, and peace are non-negotiable treasures, not resources to be freely consumed. This act of boundary setting is not about exclusion, but about self-preservation, ensuring that the psyche has the space to grow and integrate. Carl Jung's concept of the ego, the conscious sense of self, plays a crucial role here, as boundaries help define where the ego ends and the external world begins, preventing the self from being overwhelmed by external pressures. For the Sigma male, boundaries are a disciplined act of self-mastery, reflecting a stoic commitment to protecting one's inner world. Carl Jung's idea of the self as the totality of the psyche suggests that boundaries are not just defensive but creative, carving out space for the authentic self to emerge. Picture a fortress, not built to isolate but to safeguard a thriving inner kingdom. These boundaries reveal who respects your true self and who merely seeks your compliance, acting as a filter for authentic connections. By setting them, the Sigma male engages with the world on his own terms, choosing when to connect and when to retreat. This discernment is a hallmark of psychological maturity, a continuous choice to honor the self over the collective. It's a powerful declaration. This is my space, and I choose how to steward it, embodying both Jungian individuation and Stoic resilience in action. 4. The liberating absence of debt. Owning your narrative. Carl Jung's analytical psychology emphasizes the importance of owning one's life story, a process integral to individuation, where one takes responsibility for their own path without expecting others to provide closure or validation. For the mentally strong and mature, this manifests as a liberating absence of debt, releasing the expectation of apologies, rescues, or external fulfillment. In Carl Jung's framework, holding on to such expectations often stems from projecting our unresolved shadow onto others, believing they must compensate for our past wounds. By letting go of these projections, we reclaim our power, recognizing that true fulfillment comes from within. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow highlights that clinging to shoulds keeps us tethered to the unconscious, but by forging our own closure, we free ourselves to act from choice, not obligation. This shift allows for genuine generosity, untainted by the need for reciprocation, and a stoic-like acceptance that the world owes us nothing. For the Sigma male, owning his narrative is a radical act of psychological freedom. Carl Jung's idea of the self as the center of the psyche suggests that true maturity lies in crafting one's story from an internal locus of control. Imagine a man who no longer waits for an apology to heal a wound. He writes his own ending, choosing to give without expecting returns. This liberation from external expectations allows him to engage with the world authentically, free from the covert transactions that distort relationships. By embracing this Jungian principle, the Sigma male operates from a place of inner abundance, where his actions are driven by alignment with his values, not by a need to settle scores. This is the essence of mental strength, a stoic resilience that finds peace in self-authored fulfillment, untethered from the chains of external debt. 5. Shadow integration. Accountability as empowerment. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the repressed, often uncomfortable aspects of the psyche, is central to understanding psychological maturity. For the mentally strong and mature, integrating the shadow means taking full accountability for their actions, including mistakes, without succumbing to shame or defensiveness. In Carl Jung's psychology, shadow integration is a cornerstone of individuation, as it involves bringing unconscious elements into awareness, transforming them from hidden drivers into conscious choices. Saying, "I was wrong," becomes an act of empowerment, not defeat, because it acknowledges the shadow without letting it define the self. Carl Jung saw mistakes as vital data points on the path to wholeness, not as evidence of failure. By owning their actions, the mature individual reclaims power from the unconscious, turning missteps into opportunities for growth and self-understanding. For the Sigma male, shadow integration is a disciplined act of self-mastery, reflecting a stoic commitment to truth over ego. Carl Jung's emphasis on the self as the integrated whole of the psyche suggests that accountability is about discerning what is ours to carry and what belongs to others. Picture a man who admits his error in a heated moment, not to grovel, but to stand taller in his integrity, refusing to let shame or blame dictate his path. This clarity allows him to navigate life with rational precision, free from the distortions of projection or denial. By embracing this Jungian principle, the Sigma male achieves a profound balance, owning his actions fully while releasing the burdens of others' dysfunction. This is the hallmark of mental strength, a stoic resilience grounded in radical self-honesty and psychological maturity. 6. Authenticity's lonely fire. Trading approval for soul alignment. Carl Jung's psychology places authenticity at the heart of individuation, the process of becoming one's true self by integrating all aspects of the psyche. For the mentally strong and mature, this means trading the fleeting comfort of external approval for the enduring fire of soul alignment, even if it leads to temporary isolation. In Carl Jung's framework, the persona is the social mask we wear to gain acceptance, but over-identification with it disconnects us from the self, the authentic core of our being. Embracing one's unvarnished truth often means being misunderstood or rejected by those who preferred the compliant mask, a price Carl Jung recognized as part of the journey to wholeness. This authenticity, though lonely, acts as a beacon, repelling those who seek only the facade and attracting those who resonate with the genuine self, forming what Jung might call a soul tribe. For the Sigma male, this lonely fire is a testament to his independence and stoic resolve. Carl Jung's concept of the self suggests that true strength lies in living from one's core, not from a curated persona designed to please others. Imagine a man who speaks his truth, knowing it may alienate some, but trusting that it will draw those who value his essence. This radical authenticity is not about defiance, but about alignment, a disciplined choice to prioritize inner truth over external validation. By embracing this Jungian principle, the Sigma male finds freedom in being seen for who he is, not who he's expected to be. This is mental maturity at its core, a stoic commitment to authenticity that burns brightly even in solitude, illuminating the path to true connection and self-realization. 7. Holding the tension, where opposites generate power. Carl Jung's concept of holding the tension of opposites is a profound marker of psychological maturity, reflecting the ability to embrace conflicting emotions or states without needing to resolve them into simplistic binaries. For the mentally strong and mature, this means cradling grief alongside joy, empathy alongside boundaries, or love alongside the courage to walk away. In Carl Jung's psychology, this capacity is central to individuation, as it involves integrating the conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche into a cohesive whole. By dwelling in the both-and rather than the either-or, the mature individual transcends the limitations of binary thinking, finding power in the fertile space of paradox. Carl Jung saw this as the engine of expanded consciousness, where the tension between opposites generates psychological growth and resilience, much like a crucible forging a stronger self. For the Sigma male, holding the tension is a stoic-like discipline that allows him to navigate life's complexities with grace and clarity. Carl Jung's emphasis on psychological flexibility suggests that true strength lies in containing multitudes, being able to feel deeply for another's pain while protecting one's own peace, or loving someone fiercely, yet choosing to let go if it serves the self. Picture a man who mourns a loss yet finds moments of joy in the same breath, his inner stability unshaken by life's contradictions. This emotional multilingualism, as Jung might describe it, enables the Sigma male to engage with the world authentically, without being paralyzed by its inherent conflicts. By embracing this Jungian principle, he embodies a quiet power, a stoic resilience that finds strength in the balance of opposites, marking him as profoundly mature. 8. The uninvited oracle stays, silent, wisdom's patient power. Carl Jung's psychology underscores the importance of respecting the individual's unconscious journey, where personal growth often requires direct experience of life's challenges. For the mentally strong and mature, this translates into knowing when to offer wisdom and when to remain silent, taming the urge to fix or advise unprompted. In Carl Jung's framework, unsolicited advice can disrupt another's process of individuation, as each person must confront their own shadow and archetypes to discover their truths. By holding space, offering a grounded, non-judgmental presence, the mature individual honors the autonomy of others' psychological journeys. Carl Jung's emphasis on timing suggests that true insight lands only when the recipient is ready, making restraint a powerful act of respect rather than interference. For the Sigma male, this patient silence is a disciplined expression of strength, reflecting a stoic-like trust in the natural unfolding of life. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious implies that each person's path is guided by universal patterns, and premature intervention can hinder this process. Imagine a man who listens deeply to a friend's struggle, resisting the urge to offer solutions, knowing that their growth requires facing the fire themselves. This restraint is not passivity, but a profound respect for the other's journey, a recognition that wisdom is most potent when invited. By embracing this Jungian principle, the Sigma male embodies a quiet power, a stoic resilience that trusts in the timing of truth, marking him as a mature and grounded presence. 9. Meta-awareness, seeing the script, choosing your role. Carl Jung's concept of psychological types and unconscious scripts highlights how much of human behavior is driven by patterns we're unaware of, inherited from personal and collective experiences. For the mentally strong and mature, developing meta-awareness means stepping back to observe these scripts, both their own triggers and the roles others try to cast them in, and choosing their responses consciously. In Carl Jung's psychology, this awareness is a form of liberation, allowing one to break free from the unconscious compulsions of the shadow, or persona, and act from the self. By pausing to witness their reactions and the dynamics at play, the mature individual becomes the author of their narrative, not a mere actor in someone else's drama. Carl Jung saw this as the essence of psychological freedom, where one gains agency over their choices and interactions. For the Sigma male, meta-awareness is a superpower, enabling him to navigate social dynamics with clarity and intention. Carl Jung's emphasis on the self as the integrated psyche suggests that true strength lies in seeing the bigger picture, recognizing when others project their shadows or try to pull you into familiar roles. Picture a man in a heated argument who pauses, breathes, and sees the pattern, his own triggers, the other's unconscious script, and chooses to respond with calm clarity instead of reacting. This disciplined choice reflects a stoic-like rationality, allowing him to rewrite the script of any interaction. By embracing this Jungian principle, the Sigma male reclaims his agency, embodying a mental strength that is both self-aware and unshakably deliberate. 10. The Irreversible Return. Meeting your preconditioned self. The pinnacle of Carl Jung's psychology is the concept of individuation, the lifelong journey of peeling back societal conditioning, personas, and shadows to reveal the authentic self. For the mentally strong and mature, this is the irreversible return, a moment of profound recognition where they meet their preconditioned self, the essential core untainted by external expectations. In Carl Jung's framework, this self is the totality of the psyche, integrating conscious and unconscious elements into a unified whole. This journey involves confronting the persona's masks and the shadow's hidden aspects, stripping away layers of shoulds and traumas to uncover a familiar yet forgotten essence. Carl Jung saw this as a point of no return, where one can no longer live inauthentically, anchored to an inner truth that external chaos cannot shake. For the Sigma male, this return is the ultimate homecoming, a stoic-like embrace of inner peace and wholeness. Carl Jung's concept of the self suggests that true maturity lies in living from this core, free from the need for external validation or control. Imagine a man who looks into the mirror of his soul and sees not the roles he's played, but the essence he's always been, calm, complete, and unshakable. This integration allows him to engage with the world authentically, his actions aligned with his deepest truth. By embracing this Jungian principle, the Sigma male finds a power that the external world cannot bestow or diminish, a mental strength that marks the culmination of his journey to maturity. As we wrap up this exploration of mental strength and maturity through the lens of Carl Jung's psychology, I hope you've gained valuable insights into what it means to be truly strong and mature. Remember, this journey is not about perfection. It's about integration, about becoming whole. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Sigma Male Community for more content that empowers you to live your best life. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. Share your thoughts, your experiences, and how you're applying these principles in your own life. Thank you for watching, and remember, your strength lies within you.